Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Heartland Franchise Guide, your insider's guide to all things franchising in the local area. I'm Blake Martin, local small business franchise owner and your Heartland Franchise Guide. This is the place for advocacy, resources, and education on all things franchising in the local area, and a great spot for local entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs that want to stop and learn more about the franchising and small business industry. Now, a lot of our episodes, as you know, are focused on small business and entrepreneurship in general. Things that, of course, apply to the franchising industry, but can apply to all sorts of entrepreneurship. And that's what I'm excited to talk about today. We're going to do a spotlight on a new platform, a new tool that's available to all entrepreneurs in the local area. It's called SizeUp Nebraska. And our guests today are two folks that were crucial in making this happen and implementing it in the local marketplace. We've got James Caraway, and James, I'm looking down to make sure I've got your title exactly correct. Senior Economic Developer at OPPD, Omaha Public Power District, and Mario Ubalde, the Director of Customer Success at SizeUp. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, so let's start with kind of the 50,000 mile, and maybe this is a question for you, Mario, because the product that you're going to walk us through is SizeUp. What is it?
Sure. Well, SizeUp, in a very, very brief way of explaining it, is the same data that really big businesses use to optimize their business decision-making, put in the hands of local small businesses and franchises. So we can talk about it through lots of different ways, but it has three main modules. The benchmarking module, or My Business, shows you how your business is competing against similar businesses in its industry, so you can understand how competitive you are. The other module allows you to see the entire ecosystem in which you're operating, everything from your competitors to your customers and suppliers. And then the last module is the advertising module. It helps businesses find their unique targeted demographic, or if they're doing B2B, their unique business that they're trying to sell to, so that they can optimize every dollar or even penny that they spend on online or real world advertising.
Perfect. It's almost like you've done that before. That was pretty.
I talked about that on occasion.
Thank you. Now, before we get into the demo, the tutorial on this, and a little bit of the background, let's talk about our other guest, who is a big part of this becoming a reality in the local marketplace. James, you're with OPPD. And for people that don't know, I bet you there's a lot of listeners that don't even know there's an economic development department that you're a part of at OPPD, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we often hear, I had no clue OPPD had an economic development, or why does OPPD do economic development? And it's partners like you and partners like Mario and our business customers. They're the reason why we do this work.
Well, I appreciate that. And it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. So if OPPD helps small businesses grow and start, then more energy needs to be used. So it makes good sense, right? You're trying to grow the entire economic environment in the area.
Right. Economic sustainability, economic growth, prosperity, vitality, all of it is good for a prosperous region. Which
is the perfect segue. OPPD made the investment and underwrote this platform. Bringing SizeUp doesn't come for free. Somebody had to make the investment to bring this tool to the local marketplace, and it was OPPD who did that. Correct, James?
Absolutely.
Right. Anything we should add to that? Did I just steal your thunder?
So honestly, there was a conversation with a lot of the entrepreneurial service organizations in the region, FranNet, Better Business Bureau, Greater Omaha Chamber, Catholic Charities, Nebraska Business Development Center. I can keep naming them, SourceLink, a number of entities that OPPD looked to for guidance. And of course, we looked at other utility companies in the country just to see what they were doing that was cutting edge, that could provide services to small businesses. And the SizeUp thing kind of popped up. And so we had a conversation with all of these entities, and it's actually a entrepreneurial education collaborative, which OPPD is a partner of. We had a conversation with the members of the collaborative, and we just said, hey, we see this thing, let's do some due diligence, let's see if there's anything else that like we can learn from it, or best practices, and then let's see if it's something that is beneficial to our business customers in our region. We really endorse anything that supports growth and education to our business customers, and again, this SizeUp tool is one of the things that we said we'll do that.
Got it. Thank you. Appreciate that overview. It makes it more relevant as to how this all came about. So Mario, or both of you, but I think Mario's in control of the screen at the moment, so I'll direct this one to you. Can you show us a little bit about the tools that entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and small business individuals can utilize on a day-to-day business to make those smarter business decisions now that SizeUp is available to folks around here?
Absolutely. It'd be my honor to do so. So I just want to take us back to the homepage just really briefly, just to provide a little bit of context. While this tool is intended for small businesses, it can be used at any level by any size business. And when I say any level, you notice that we have restaurants here. Mm-hmm. That would be all restaurants. But we could also look at Italian, right, or pizza. And the same is true on the manufacturing side. We could look at all manufacturers, and so like quite literally every single thing, from your Boeings, right, to your we make stress relief balls, in a small facility for our local school kids to do. But when I'm showing this for the first time, I kind of focus on things that are more intuitive. Not everyone makes, $100,000 ball bearings that fit into jet engines, but presumably everyone's been out to a restaurant. Notice I'm not saying barbecue or vegetarian. We're just talking about all restaurants, so everyone should be able to relate. Now, normally I would fill out this information in real time to show how easy it is, but because we have limited time, I've pre-filled some of the information.
Okay.
And what you'll see is you just indicate the industry that you're in at whatever level, whatever depth or breadth that you want, and then anywhere in the region that you want to do analysis on. So obviously we're in Omaha, but we could choose other communities that we're doing business in, or we're thinking about doing business in the case of an entrepreneur or someone who's looking to acquire a franchise or a business in a different location. And what you're going to see for every single type of benchmark or key performance indicator is you're going to see a chart view showing that information at whatever you think your trade area is. So if you're just looking at Omaha, you can look there. You can look at Douglas County or the metro area or the state, and you'll benchmark yourself. So you can see where restaurants are making more and less money, both in a chart and tabular view. And then you're also going to see that on a map. You're going to see hyper-local information about where restaurants are making more or less money. And if you're thinking, oh, I have a secret recipe from my grandmother, you can say, hey, I want to see where Italian restaurants are making more or less money, or pizza restaurants. Or we could also switch to see the difference that we were talking about earlier, is which side of the metro area likes pizza or tacos more.
Question,
and then,
if I could.
Yes.
I know you're not going to divulge anything proprietary. You're a for-profit company. Where does the data come from?
Oh, goodness. You're asking a fantastic question. So we have hundreds of different data sources, both public and private. And so some of it depends on the type of industry that you're in, right? If we're looking at data for attorneys or CPAs, we all know that they have to pass the bar exam or do their CPA exam. So the information by industry is going to change. We update what's called the industry or firmographic information. So those are all the individual businesses, and then the data associated with them every 3 months. And then we update consumer expenditure data, demographics, things of that nature every 6 months. Some of the information that we'll see later is updated annually because it comes from government sources like the IRS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and things of that nature. I'm not showing it to you right now, but the consumer expenditure data is updated every 6 months, and it's modeled on the Bureau of Economic Analysis that sends out surveys to 7,500 randomly selected households. And then we create models of that and update that every 6 months. So it depends. We do have private sources, the same kind of base level data sources that Google Maps uses. We just don't have the billions of dollars to send those cars around doing all the street view and everything else. So we hope this is a fantastic starting point. We don't believe that any data is perfect because there's so many different data providers. Otherwise, there'd be just one. But what we do know is that we're providing directionally meaningful data to the people who are using the site. And we hope that that's going to give them the information where they can then validate that based on their own knowledge of the market, of the consumer or business partner they're looking for.
Got it.
Does that answer your question, Blake?
More than answers it. And what I heard was if you want to nerd out on data, this is one of the places to go for that.
Yeah. We have white papers that people can read if they have trouble sleeping at night that our data scientists have authored.
Thanks,
so, yes.
Thanks so much for sharing that. I'll be sure to get on all of those.
Okay.
So this recently launched in Nebraska, but this isn't your first rodeo, right? SizeUp has been at this for a while.
So we are the oldest startup. Our former parent company started in 2000, and SizeUp was spun off from them in 2017. So we have 5 years of independent existence, but our history goes back several decades.
Thanks.
And in terms of the U.S., we have over 100 implementations from really small communities with less than 5,000 people in the community where they're really focused on entrepreneurship. And then we also have lots of big cities who are our customers who are focused on optimizing how the businesses in their area are functioning to give them access to the same data so they can be on a competitive standpoint with some of those larger businesses that have back office HR experts or consultants who can generate this type of data for them.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Sure.
Picture what the whole process has been here. So that's going to be a wrap for the first part of this episode on the SizeUp Nebraska tool. We want to thank James with OPPD and Mario with SizeUp for the overview, and get ready for the second part of this. As we're getting ready for that, just a reminder that if you need any information about this, go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen. That'll get you in touch with us, and we'll be happy to answer any questions and get you to the right resources in regards to this. So thanks again for listening to an episode of the Heartland Franchise Guy. Remember to share, subscribe, and follow. Don't keep us a secret. We will see you here very soon for part 2 of this episode on the SizeUp Nebraska tool. Thanks for joining us today.